Hello. In this video I want to explain you how I increase the performance of the chunk generation in my game Blockiverse. To keep this video simple and generally, I don't show the source code and just explain how it worked before and after. Now let's start with how the old version worked. There was no preparation of the chunks. The game started directly with the initialization of every chunk and the objects on it. During this step also the cracks were disabled for chunks, which were more than the half of the view distance away from the player by using a script. After the player walked some distance, chunks were deleted, which were too far away from the player, and the cracks on the remaining chunks were updated. Parallel, the game had to create new chunks. This was done like the initialization, creating the chunk itself, the objects on it, and disable the grass. This was the old version. Now the estimated maximum number of chunks will be generated. I'll explain in the next image how this number is calculated. For each of these chunks also the estimated maximum number of all object kinds are created. In the example 2 grass and 1 tree per chunk. At the moment everything is deactivated. During the initialization, the game takes prepared chunks, moves them to their target position, activates them, and does the same with the objects. If the needed number of objects exceeds the number of the available objects, new objects are created. The visibility of grass in the distance is not longer handled by a script, but by the level of detail component of Unity 3D. I guess other game engines also have something like this. So the visibility of grass is ignored in the next steps, because it will be handled automatically. After the player walked again some distance, chunks and their objects won't be deleted but deactivated. To display new chunks, the game takes a deactivated chunk with the objects and will activate them, like during the initialization. Activate and move them. Now I explain you, like promised, how to calculate the estimated maximum number of chunks. In this image the blue dot is the position of the player and the squares are the chunks. The green circle displays the normal view range. In this area chunks will be activated. The outer red circle displays the 1.5 times of the view range. If a chunk is outside of this border, this chunk will be deactivated. Why the red circle is important, I'll explain you with the following example. Let's say the player is 5 cm behind the border when this chunk will be activated and the player walks 10 cm forward. Now this chunk is in range of the green circle and have to be activated. After that the player goes 10 cm back. This chunk is out of the green range. So without the red circle it would mean that this chunk will be deactivated. In the case that the player repeats this again and again, it would mean the game has also have to activate and deactivate this chunk again and again. So back to the point where the player walks 10 cm forward, and this time we use a red circle. This chunk is at this point deactivated and will be activated. Now the player walks 10 cm back, and because chunks are only deactivated, if they leave the red circle, these chunks remain active. This saves performance because nothing has to be done if the player just moves a little bit, in a house for example. Back to the calculation of the estimated maximum number of chunks. At first you need the square of the chunk view range. Because the view range is a radius, you have to multiply it by 2 multiplied by 2. Because we need the red circle, we have to multiply it again by 1.5, or in short, multiply the small square by 6. Now you may ask you, why he uses a square to calculate the number instead of a circle. This would prevent that he create too many chunks. There are 2 reasons for that. First, with the square calculation, you get a higher number. I use it as emergency reserve, because I don't want to create new chunks after the preparation. And the second reason may sound lazy, but the formula to calculate a square is easier. Thank you for watching and see you next time.